So, here's the deal. Everyone's talking about how Kendrick Lamar may have single-handedly crushed Drake's new album rollout and possibly ended his entire career. It sounds wild, right? But the more I look at what happened, the more it seems like Kendrick knew exactly what he was doing and Drake might have played right into his hands. Let me break down all the details because there is a lot to unpack here. First, we have to start with the Superbowl halftime show. This year, Kendrick Lamar took the stage in front of over 100 million people, and it wasn't just a typical performance. He wore this sparkling diamond encrusted chain that seemed to reference some lines from an older track called Not Like Us. A lot of fans say it was a direct shot at Drake, but honestly, Kendrick did not stop there. He also brought out Serena Williams, yes, the tennis legend who once reportedly dated Drake. If that isn't a massive statement, I don't know what is. Think about it, you are Drake, chilling in Australia on tour, and suddenly you hear that your ex is dancing on stage with the biggest rival in front of pretty much half the country. Ouch! Here's where things get even more interesting. Drake, who was performing in Melbourne, decided to change some of his own lyrics right after all this went down. In his song, Knife Talk, he went from saying, "Beef is alive, spoiler alert, this dies," to "Beef is alive, spoiler alert, I never died." It's like he wanted the world to know that he's unbothered by Kendrick's halftime performance, or at least trying to act like he isn't. But the lyric change came off as pretty defensive. Instead of clapping back at Kendrick directly, Drake started suing people, sneaking around on a second Instagram account and taking subtle zaps at folks like Ebro, Joe Budden, and even the CEO of his label. It feels like he's fighting a battle on 10 fronts, and none of them are against Kendrick head on. That's where the real drama is, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about that lawsuit for a minute. Drake decided to sue Universal Music Group, yes, his own label, for defamation. Apparently, he's angry that Kendrick performed Not Like Us on national TV. Drake's legal team claims that the label let Kendrick do it on purpose and that it was basically a coordinated attack to ruin Drake's name. Whether that is true or not, suing a label seems like a dangerous move. Think about it. Lucian Granais, the head of UMG, is one of the most powerful people in the music business. If you turn him into your enemy, good luck getting your album promoted. At this point, if Drake's album sales flop, is it because of Kendrick's halftime show or because Drake alienated the one label that helps him reach the top of the charts? It is tough to say, but either way, Drake's not in a strong position. What is even crazier is how personal Drake got with Lucian Granades. Instead of confronting Lucian directly, Drake posted pictures of Lucian's daughter-in-law wearing OVO merch on some hidden Insta account. This felt super petty, like a high school move, if you ask me. 1 minute, you are a global rap star with millions of fans. The next minute, you are posting random pictures of someone's family member as a way to poke at your boss. This doesn't look very respectable. It's also risky because rumors say that Drake's next album might not get the usual label push. If UMG decides to bury the release, Drake could be in big trouble, especially when you consider he's facing stiff competition from other rappers, including Kendrick, who just seems unstoppable right now. Meanwhile, Kendrick's over here living his best life. He performed a killer halftime show. He's got millions of fans calling him the new king of hip-hop, and everyone's buzzing about how he ended Drizzy Drake. After that performance, fans started calling out Drake for not responding properly. In past feuds, like the ones with Meek Mill or Pusha T, Drake usually hopped on the mic and delivered a clear diss track. This time, Drake seems more worried about people like Joe Budden, who's not even an active rapper, and random sports figures like LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan. You've got to wonder, is Drake afraid to reply to Kendrick directly, or is he just busy putting out all these little fires that he doesn't have time to deal with the main blades? Serena Williams' cameo at the halftime show also added fuel to the fire. Drake used to have a thing with her, and not long ago, he took shots at her husband in a track, calling him a groupie. Now that Serena's taking Kendrick's side, at least that's how it looks. Everyone's talking about how Drake always drags women into his disputes. He mentioned Nicki Minaj in his feud with Meek Mill, Pusha T's wife in their beef, and now Lucian Grain's daughter-in-law. People are starting to see a pattern. Drake really battles the men who call him out. He instead attacks the woman tied to them, or tries to act tough towards retired personalities and media figures. It's not a good look for him, and a lot of fans are pointing that out. There is also a conspiracy theory going around that Kendrick's entire halftime show was designed to mock Drake. Some folks say the diamond chain he wore was a symbol that references Drake's own chain from an older performance, basically telling him, hey, I can one-up you on a bigger stage. The performance included lines about lawsuits, which could be a nod to how Drake loves to get legal, and of course, bringing Serena on stage may have been the ultimate power move. Was it planned months in advance to coincide with Drake's album release? We don't have proof, but the timing sure is suspicious. Fans are also talking about how the crowd seemed to chant, "They not like us," during Kendrick's set. Some people who were there claim the stadium wasn't that loud and that the broadcast added crowd noise. Others say it was absolutely bonkers in the stadium. Either way, it became a trending topic on social media, with everyone convinced that the entire halftime show was one big anti-Drizzy Drake statement. Whether that is fact or rumor, it created the perfect environment for people to laugh at Drake's meltdown. Social media turned into a meme factory, mocking the fact that Drake was stuck defending himself while Kendrick casually strolled off the field in victory. Now, the big question is, how has all this affected Drizzy Drake's album sales? We don't have the official numbers yet, but there is a strong feeling that this might be the worst performing album in Drake's entire career. Yes, Drake might still do big numbers because his fanbase is absolutely massive and ginormous, but the hype surrounding the project seems overshadowed by all the negativity, lawsuits, changed lyrics, petty Instagram stunts, and the label drama. Even if Drake's music is great, the focus is entirely on this feud. In a way, Kendrick stole the show and left Drake's album announcement in the dust. Of course, some people think Drake will bounce back. They believe it's all part of some big marketing plan. Maybe Drake loves the publicity because it keeps his name in the headlines, but others see it differently. They say Drizzy Drake is panicking and sweating, and that he wouldn't be acting like this if he felt confident in his new music. Filing a lawsuit against your label is extreme. Attacking random personalities online screams desperation, and rewriting your own song lyrics to convince fans that you're still strong? That sounds like a meltdown, not a strategy. All these signs point to a giant turning point in Drizzy Drake's career. Kendrick is not just a random rival, he's the guy who's climbed to the top of the rap game by delivering smart performances, powerful lyrics, and polished albums. He does not waste time with petty feuds on social media. He drops bombs at Superbowls and then moves on. And that might be the biggest reason Drake is losing this battle. Kendrick's approach is calm and confident, while Drake seems all over the place. However, some folks argue that if Drake had fired back with a direct diss track or performed a surprise set in response, it might have worked in his favor, but instead, he's basically handing Kendrick the victory. The lawsuit alone has made him look like a sore loser, and is scaring away the people he should want on his side, like the big label heads who can push his music to every corner of the planet. So, is Drizzy Drake's career really over? Is this really the end for him? Maybe that is extreme. He's still a giant name, and he's got die-hard fans who will support him no matter what. But I can't ignore how bad this looks. From the outside, it feels like Kendrick Lamar pulled off a massive public takedown at the Super Bowl, and Drake's reaction was to lash out at everyone except Kendrick. Now, there is a real possibility his album will drop into a world that is already laughing at him. If that happens, it could mark the end of his untouchable era, the moment Drake stopped being the unstoppable hit machine and become just another artist who lost his cool under pressure. That is everything we know so far. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know if you think Drake can dig himself out of this hole, or if this feud with Kendrick is the final straw. Personally, I'm not convinced Drake can recover that easily, because once public opinion starts turning, it is hard to reverse. But who knows, maybe he will surprise us. Only time will tell. Peace out.